Answer continues next in our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Intervals of clouds and sunshine coming through today, high near 50. Clouds on the increase overnight, 33. Chilly day ahead tomorrow with a high only of 43. Back in the sunshine on Wednesday with a high near 50. Currently 43. Next news at 7. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and just to answer the question we left off on before Mike Scott's newscast, COVID-19 does not stand for Chinese virus, because it's the 19th iteration. Coronavirus disease 2019. All right, let's just stick with the facts here. There's no need to overstate the case in any direction. Coronavirus disease 2019 is the nomenclature for which COVID-19 is an abbreviation. All right, on the Sunday talk shows with the leftist bots that were hosting, the big question that they were searching for somebody to answer in the affirmative: does President Trump have blood on his hands because of their assessment of the administration's response? Now, Chuck Todd over at Meet the Press, that yapping little terrier, tried with Joe Biden. Here's how that went.
Do you think there is blood on the president's hands, considering the slow response? Or is that too harsh of a criticism?
I think that's a little too harsh. I think what's happening...
Yeah, that's too harsh. Okay, so Joe Biden wouldn't take the bait. And how about Nancy Pelosi on Jake Tapper? Sure. You can always count on Nancy Pelosi.
What the president, his denial at the beginning was deadly. His delaying of getting equipment to where it continues, his delay in getting equipment to where it's needed is deadly. And now I think the best thing would be to do is to prevent more loss of life.
Just to clarify, make sure we got that right.
But are you saying that his downplaying ultimately cost American lives?
Yes, I am. I'm saying that.
All right. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Indiana Republican Senator Mike Braun. Senator Braun, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to be on.
So Lindsey Graham reacted to that on Bartiromo, but I'll give you a chance to react de novo. Your response to Nancy Pelosi's blood on his hands?
It's not surprising at all, because I think she is now the focal point of kind of the political counter to Trump. And I think, of course, what she forgets to mention, and many others, is the vector into this country was through New York City and the state of New York. And many of the officials there were touting the fact that, go out and do everything as normal when it comes to New Year's Eve, and don't let the virus be over sensationalized. So that you've got all that there. I don't think with what we've seen with President Trump since his election that it's surprising to hear statements like that out of Speaker Pelosi. She did it through impeachment, through delaying the USMCA, and now I think that they've kind of weaponized this, and President Trump's not going to get from hard partisans like her. It was interesting what Joe Biden said. I did not see that interview, just kind of clips of it. He was couching his words a little differently.
Yeah.
But by and large, this is to be expected, and it'll continue right through November of 2020.
Well, it's interesting, too, because de Blasio on with Jake Tapper, same show that Nancy Pelosi was on, he's, to your point about pronouncements, hey, New Yorkers, life is normal, go enjoy the parade, go do this, go to restaurants, go to Chinatown. He said, hey, Jake, this isn't the time to look back. This is the time to look forward. So, so look forward for them. And here's the other thing, too. Rather than, following their MO of cheap shotting, which we haven't done here, and Republicans have been pretty good at resisting the temptation, is that, look, the entire expert infrastructure with respect to infectious disease and NIH and CDC no one predicted this and predicted this on the scale for the better part of the last decade. So rather than pot-shotting people, how about, to Blasio's point, even though it's convenient, how about looking forward to address what's happening in real time and maybe make adjustments on a go-forward basis for what the world looks like in a positive way after COVID-19?
I think that's exactly what President Trump has done when he talks about being aspirational. That doesn't mean disregard the expert advice. It just means that at some point there will be a pivot. And I was one of the first senators and did a couple floor speeches on it that, hey, we do everything and throw the kitchen sink at knocking back the disease, because I really believe until the ticker tape that the media runs up in the corner of the screen, again, hyper sensationalizing the whole thing, until that starts to level off and come down, everybody is going to be on edge. It is unique. The disease has got so many peculiar characteristics, but also, we will get beyond it. And I think that rather than just kind of be holed up and depressed, we do need to start talking about how, with the information we've learned for the last couple months, what we've learned from other countries, is to how in a country as broad and diverse as ours, and so based upon the kind of lifestyle that we've become accustomed to, which is not holding up and hunkering down totally, but social distancing and quarantining when you need to, according to the best advice, is smart. But I think we need to be looking at what the next act is, and do you treat the entirety of the country like you obviously need to treat the state of New York City, other hotspots, any urban areas, Chicago, Indianapolis, many of the other larger cities are being watched closely to make sure that we've learned from that and hopefully can avoid, the catastrophe that's occurred in the state of New York and especially New York City.
Yeah, well, in Cook County, Chicago, 4,600 cases through our whole state. Do you ever see them setting up a checkpoint system like they're doing in Florida right now, from a checkpoint system from Illinois to Indiana?
Something like that. Even in our hometown here, my little town of 16,000 people, we've got one of the companies that had a clinic within their business and is doing a checkpoint system, for their employees. And I think you're going to see that kind of unfurling of response across the country too. And I think until we do accumulate more data, and they kept obsessing on testing, and they were right there, but we also can extrapolate a lot of information from where the hot points are, especially not only of cases but also of fatalities. And I think we watch that carefully, and I think everything President Trump has done, and the one thing he gets no credit for, and is probably in the entire equation, when he eliminated travel from China and then from Europe, that was like the fire hose of a vector coming into this country. And of course, to me, that was the biggest thing early that he gets no credit for as well in the conversation. But we'll get through all that. We'll learn a lot along the way.
And this is, a opportune time to build that wall on the border to prevent people from Cook County coming in that you Hoosiers have always wanted, Mike. So you should take advantage of it. Senator Mike Braun, Republican senator from Indiana, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great talking to you.
Take care.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. President Trump blasts General Motors for failing to meet its original plan to produce ventilators. Boeing ends up a winner in stimulus bill, and gun shops say they are essential businesses. Those stories next.
The coronavirus is wreaking havoc here in the United States and across the globe. The stock market is plummeting. Sports leagues are suspending their seasons. Schools are sending students home, and the entire U.S. economy has been destabilized. Many experts say this is just the beginning. This is a devastating risk if you're heavy in stocks with no safeguard. Wise investors know to hedge against stock market collapse by utilizing physical precious metals. Noble Gold is a leader in this conservative financial strategy, offering extensive education, patient counsel, and expert guidance by phone. Do you want to get your hands on some physical gold and silver? Noble has you covered. Get it delivered directly to your doorstep. There is no time to waste. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free